Last week on Hood Stocks, we had Bangin' on Wax and Damu Riders legend Lil Hawk from Crenshaw Mafia on the show. During the interview, he talked about the time he and his people got into it with Big U and the Rollin' 60s back in 1991 during the showing of Boys in the Hood.
The first time I think I came encounter with Big U one time, it was on an accident. I'm not gonna go out into it, but and I was in the movie when Boys in the Hood first came out. You know what I'm saying? And just so happened both our hoods was in the theater in the Universal Studio, and it was a big rumble when that motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? They made the news that night. I don't know if he took one to the leg that night. I don't know, but it was some shit like that happened. It was so chaotic that night. You know what I'm saying? But I believe he was there that night. You know what I'm saying? But it went up, and that motherfucker went up, and then see that little motherfucker said, "I ain't from Africa, I'm from Crenshaw Mafia." They said some slick. We went crazy. They said some slick. And we sprung right in action. But I'm gonna keep it clean, which it was a gang and it was gang us. You know what I'm saying? On both sides and shit. But like I say, they was already in there first, so we came up in there. You know, they was like I said, I go out into it. Like I say, pulling a bush, you know, but like I say, but just speaking of Big U, that's the only time that I know we was in each other's presence though. But I was a youngster though. You know what I'm saying? I was in the movies that night, and that shit was already went up and that motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? Because like I say, little motherfucker talking about I ain't from Africa, I'm from Crenshaw Mafia. We weren't even expecting that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now we knew about certain scenes that was in the movie, but John Singleton kept that as a goddamn surprise, right? He never told us about that shit, right? Because he knew we was gonna go crazy, right?
Unfortunately, the movie Boys in the Hood caused chaos at movie theaters all over the country. Here's a news article from July 14th, 1991, detailing some of the incidents that happened, one of which Lil Hawk just talked about. This is the literal title, ladies and gentlemen, from July 14th, 1991, the Deseret News. 1 dies, 31 are wounded after ghetto movie debut. Found that a very interesting title, but here's the article. The debut of the inner city drama Boys in the Hood triggered largely gang-related gunfire that left one moviegoer dead and at least 31 wounded across the nation. Several theater owners Saturday promptly pulled the critically praised Columbia Pictures movie from their screens. The film's 23-year-old writer-director John Singleton accused those theaters of artistic racism and said his film encourages peace. John Singleton says, "I'm very disappointed because that's not what my movie is about. It's just a reflection of the way our society is going right now." The violence, similar to that surrounding the March premiere of the drama New Jack City, New Jack City had some problems too at theaters, could have a profound impact on the future of Black-oriented films, just at a time when a new generation of Black directors like Singleton are becoming prominent. Violence has also accompanied the premieres of other movies, including The Godfather 3 last year and the 1988 film Colors. We all know that Colors caused some shit in the theaters. While the film Boys in the Hood features some gang violence, its message is pacifistic. The film's final frames carry the plea, increase the peace. In the Chicago suburb of Riverdale, Illinois, a man was fatally shot early Saturday after a midnight showing at a drive-in. Michael Booth, 23, of Chicago, was pronounced dead at a hospital after being shot at the Halsted Twin Outdoor Theater. 5 people were wounded in or near an 18-theater complex in Universal City. That sounds like the one Lil Hawk was talking about right there, because the Universal City Walk, that we used to call it City Walk, is right next to Universal Studios. So let's see. Here, back to the article. 5 people were wounded in or near an 18-theater complex in Universal City, just north of Hollywood. The Cineplex Odeon Complex canceled future showings of the film. Yeah, they weren't having it after the Crenshaw Mafias in the 60s got into it at their establishment. The article continues, the scene was pandemonium after gunfire broke out seconds after the lights dimmed. People were stampeding, said moviegoer Sally Dorsey. People were running into the bathroom. Elsewhere, in Sacramento, a 19-year-old woman was shot 6 times in the chest and shoulder when 2 young men opened fire on deputies trying to break up fights outside the theater. Damn. She was listed in good condition. Damn, she took 6 to the chest and she was in good condition. An 18-year-old man was arrested for investigation of attempted murder of a law officer. In Pinole in Northern California, a 20-year-old man was in serious condition after being shot several times in the back. God damn, it's going down at these theaters, man. In Upland, I know Upland very well, 40 miles east of Los Angeles, 4 people were shot in what may have been a fight between 2 rival gangs. 2 of the wounded, including a 16-year-old girl, were hospitalized in fair condition. The theater canceled future showings. They were just canceling this movie left and right, which made it blow up even more on video because people, especially members, certain sections, they didn't go to the movie theater. So they were like, shit, I'm going to wait till this comes out in video. And boy, I bet that videotape sold out quick everywhere. And what a lot of people thought they were being smart in doing is going out to places like Upland, 40 miles outside of California. They're like, man, yeah, we might as well go out there, man. Ain't gonna be no issues, man. And they were probably wearing their colors, and they didn't realize that other people had the same thought. And now you have shit cracking in Upland. All right, back to the article. In nearby Chino, 2 people were wounded, 1 seriously, while standing in line to watch the movie. In Tuscaloosa, Alabama, 3 teens were shot in a gang fight at a theater. 2 were in serious condition. In Minneapolis, a shot was fired in a downtown theater. Just part of the crowd spilled out into the street, police said. A vehicle drove by and multiple shots were fired. Damn, it was going down. At least 4 people were wounded, 2 critically. A 5th was injured trying to flee, and a 6th suffered minor injuries. Man. In Akron, Ohio, it was just going down everywhere. A 16-year-old boy was shot in the stomach Friday evening outside a theater. And you notice it's all young. It's all young kids. Ugh, that's crazy, man. Elsewhere in Ohio, 13 people were arrested at a theater in Lorain after a disturbance there. In North Las Vegas, North Las Vegas, I don't know if it's calmed down a little bit, but back in the day, North Las Vegas was pretty gangster. In North Las Vegas, Nevada, 2 people were shot at a drive-in that was showing the film, police said. No arrests were reported. In Comac, New York, this article goes on and on. A Long Island teenager was stabbed by 2 attackers Saturday in the lobby of a theater showing the film, police said. He was reported in stable condition. No arrests were made. Dozens stormed a Racine, Wisconsin theater lobby after about 200 people sneaked into a side door, and managers canceled the Friday showing. Milwaukee police were called to break up a reported gang fight outside a theater. Columbia Pictures said theaters in Seattle, Chino, and Universal City pulled the film. Theaters in Upland and Waukegan, Illinois, also canceled showings. Hawaii officials asked Consolidated Theaters, the state's largest movie chain, not to show the film. A police spokesman said Cobb's Fox 10 Cinema in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, planned to eliminate late-night showings. The film's producer, Steve Nicolades, deplored the violence, but defended the movie. He says, we cannot interpret these terrible acts of violence as a reason for artists to stop looking at the problems of our society. The problems will not somehow magically go away if we ignore them. Damn, it was going down at the theaters, man. What a sight that must have been when on screen, within just a few minutes of the movie, a little boy says, I ain't from Africa. I'm from Crenshaw Mafia. Could imagine how that could make it go left. But shout out to Lil Hawk for sharing that story. Don't even think I ever knew that story, heard that story. So that was the first time that I got to hear that. And shout out to Hoodstocks. I am part of Hoodstocks now. Guest host. I'm going to post the link in the description so you can check out the full interview on Hoodstocks of Lil Hawk, YG from Crenshaw Mafia, just fresh out from doing 26 years behind bars. It's a great interview. You got to check it out. And please come over to Hoodstocks. If you don't know about Hoodstocks, I mean, Hoodstocks is one of the biggest things out. But if by some slim chance you never heard of Hoodstocks and you are a supporter of mine, please go over to Hoodstocks and check us out over there. I think you would really, really appreciate the channel. Check out some of the old interviews that Lucky has done. Definitely glad to be part of Hoodstocks over there. And once again, shout out to Lil Hawk, man. He's a great dude. He always brings great energy. He always has just great vibes and love. And he's a real dude, man. I mean, he's just one of the realest cats I've met. He's authentic. And unfortunately, authenticity is something that a lot of people are lacking nowadays. And it was just, it's just good to know somebody like him still exists. And he's still putting out music. And he's still doing his thing that makes him happy. Go stream Damu Rada's Banging on Wax 2. Lil Hawk's voice is all over it. Go follow Lil Hawk on Instagram. Lil Hawk, the famous Damu. Lil Hawk, the famous Damu. And please hit that like button if you have not already. And if this is your first time joining the channel and you like what you hear, please hit that subscribe button.